Welcome to Conscious Together. Another fascinating session, I hope. Fascinating because I'm excited today to share what I have done is I have just finished recording a few slides and a small recorded session about ADHD and mindfulness, which will be uploaded very shortly. Um, that will help you get an idea of what it means to be living with ADHD, but how you can manage those symptoms with mindfulness practices and exercises. The reason I did that was also because then it gives me a chance in this next 20 to 30 minutes to be able to focus mostly on what really matters. It could be meditation, um, and exercises that I will show you, which involves movement and some activities which will help you bring your attention um, back to your breath at any given point of time. Now, to begin with, remember that ADHD is important in the fact that it is marked by impulsivity, hyperactivity, and a difficulty to relax. Given these three odds, we might find it difficult to therefore sit down during meditation, to be able to close our eyes, to be able to sit down for longer durations. Hence, today's session is going to focus on what ways we can practice mindfulness in ways that it still helps our prefrontal cortex, it thickens the prefrontal cortex, but at the same time, you're also enjoying the process of getting into meditation. Right. Now, the first thing that is important for us to have a successful habit created around mindfulness is being able to simply become aware and sit down with the sensations in our body. Now, what do I mean by it? When we say sensations in our body, at any given point of time, when you're sitting still, your body is either showing up tired or joyful, or there could be places in our body, there could be areas in our body which have tingling or which have difficulty in moving, or they feel probably even pleasant some days, or there could be some parts of the body where you don't feel anything. Now, this restlessness inside the body is something that we normally usually avoid when diagnosed with ADHD. The simple reason being it is discomforting, it is annoying to sit down with trying to find which tooth is hurting at the back or which knee is creaky today, right? Now, the first thing to do is to bring a difference of attitude when you sit down to meditate or when you're sitting down to do a mindfulness practice. What attitude should that be? Now, oftentimes when we don't want something, we resist it, um, and it persists. When we resist a sensation, when we resist an urge, it tends to grow. And that's why my invitation to you is to allow it to become you and for you to lean towards this discomfort or sensation of hurt or pain. Now, this could be really hard. Why would I want to sit down with something that is hurting, Avanti? You might ask me. The simple reason is the more you pay attention to the hurt and pain, the more you sit with it. Your mind is then free from having to overthink things and think of ways to deal with that pain. Because what do? If my knee is hurting, I will sit down on this chair and scroll through my social media incessantly. That's what I would do. Or if my knee hurts or if my back hurts, I would just go lie down and read a book and try to avoid thinking of the pain as much as possible. Now, what that does is oftentimes with pain, it has been seen that we pick habits or we pick means to relieve pain which do not help the pain go down. We find ways to deal with the pain in a way that we just don't think about it, even when it's there, right? So the pain is always there. It's just us distracting ourselves and coming back to think about it. Now, look at it in a different mindset. If you say, okay, my knee is hurting, come on, knee, let me sit down with you and find out where exactly in the knee you're hurting. Is it under the joint, or is it around the tendon, or is it the muscle? Actually, it's not only the knee, but there is something else. But if you bring your attention in this manner to the part of the knee which is hurting, you will realize that you feel this amount of immense self love. One, that you're paying attention to your own self, but also you're able to then not having to invent ways to distract yourself and find something else to do. So there is a win-win for having to lean into this pain that we're speaking about. And leave me comments in the comments section if you think differently. I would think that it is a matter of practice and diligence, and a way that you can show your body love by sitting with that pain and finding out what it shows up as. It has been proven that in the practice of mindfulness, be it restlessness in the body or restlessness in our mind, the more we sit with it, the more we feel the feeling. The feeling then passes through us, which means that the more sadness you accept to feel in the moment, the more you wear it, the more you come close to it, the sooner it will walk through you, the sooner it will go through you. Now, let's try this in a short meditation. I am standing today, and I would invite you to stand as well if you need to, but make sure you are either putting your hands on the table to rest them to give you support, or if you feel, just keep your feet apart so that you find a stable balance while keeping your eyes open as we do this practice. Now, remember, I wish we could do this in person, but we are not able to do it. And I cannot see you on the other side for when you're trying it. But I do hope that you will make sure that you're safe and secure through this practice. Now, let's bring our attention to the bottom of our feet, right? As we stabilize our body, putting the weight on both our feet equally, becoming used to the fact that the soles of our feet are touching the ground in a way that's even keel, that our toes are rested, that you can sense the temperature of the floor that you're standing on. Bringing your arms down beside the body. And relaxing into this position with your eyes open. bringing focus to your breath and bringing your attention to the nostrils if that may seem easier. Remember to leave your eyes open since we're doing a standing meditation today. And then watch with you the way your breath goes in and out of your nostrils. Really without wanting it to be any different. Becoming curious how the back then relaxes into this position. You feel the pelvis easing in. You find the toes wriggling and making sure they space themselves out appropriately to support you. Bring your attention back to the breath that we steered away from. And observing with curiosity what shows up today. Is it a low, shallow breath? Or a deeper, more pronounced breath? Extending that path of the breath into our abdomen to see how our abdomen is behaving, reacting to the air coming in. All the while relaxing your abdomen. Observing when your breath comes to an even breath, where the duration of the in-breath and the out-breath is the same. Now bringing your attention to the body, to our toes. And slowly drawing up our attention from our toes to the heel, the calves of our feet, our knees, our thighs and our pelvis, the buttocks, the lower back, the upper back, our shoulders and hands, going down to our elbows and wrists, and our finger toes and the front of our palms. Going back up to the inside of our elbows, to our shoulders, to the back of our neck, to our abdomen, the chest area, our throat, our jawline, the cheekbones, the bridge of our nose, the sockets of our eyes, our temples, and eventually the back and the top of our heads. bringing full attention to our body in this position, while then dissolving our attention to ease our stance and to come back into the session having dismissed our posture. Now, this is a very standard, basic grounding practice along with the short body scan practice that we just completed. But remember, when we do it with our eyes open, the difference is that we are not falling down or that we are not destabilizing ourselves. Oftentimes, when we have ADHD, it is difficult to stabilize ourselves, to be distracted by the kind of things that are happening around us. And so, if you want to be listening to the audio of this video while you are practicing this meditation, that works better. Especially if you want to focus your attention on a candlelight or a dot on the wall, or it could be a flower or any one item that you could bring your attention to completely until you finish this practice. It would work even better. But having said that, now let's move on. So we've spoken about the mindset that we're looking at when we bring our ADHD mind into meditation. This is the first thing you want to do: change the way you think about it. Second, when you're sitting down now, getting ready to, don't call it a meditation, it could be a contemplation. And I have a video that is also saved in the playlist around contemplation, so try one of those. But again, when you don't push yourself to do something that you don't enjoy, you would avoid it, right? So the first tip here would be to say, okay, just being curious about meditation and mindfulness, to say, what is this? What is the difference between being mindful and having to meditate? Does mindfulness always mean meditation? Just bringing curiosity into the practice will help you and take it a long way. Bringing curiosity to say, what does that do to my body? Why should I be sitting down like this? How do I feel when I sit down? Is it because of the loneliness that I have to do this practice alone, that it makes it difficult? Or it is the fact that I get bored easily? So if you're bored because you're doing it alone, or whether you're bored because it's too long, remember, a meditation needs to be between 3 and 53 minutes long. And you could choose the length of meditation that works best for you. As a beginner, as someone who's coming back to the practice of mindfulness, you could definitely start with very short practices, going into slightly lengthier ones after, say, about 2 or 3 months. That is a lot more sturdier practice, and a better way to get into a habit than having to sit an hour every day from the first day of the week. Remember, mindfulness, like brushing your teeth, is a habit that you want to strengthen over a period of time. It is not something that will happen overnight. It is something that you need to give attention and time to over and over again, to bring consistency into your practice. Right. So, with that said, I'd like to bring you to another practice, which is one of my personal favorites, also because you don't need to sit. With people with the ADHD brain, it often makes it impossible to sit or stand, or to bring our attention to our breath. So, what do we do then? I mean, what kind of meditation can we practice? One answer to that is a mindful movement practice, where it is impressively moving, the practice itself, but also you're moving as you become more mindful. Now, if you look at mindfulness in its classic definition, mindfulness means you should be aware, and bring your awareness to every moment that you have in front of you. And if you translate that into a moving meditation, into a walking meditation or a movement meditation, that would look like your regular exercises, but doing it with a touch of attention to the time that you begin doing the exercise, like picking your arm, for example, but also watching how that movement makes you feel in the body, every bit of it. And which is why we usually tend to slow down this movement so that you can bring particular focus to that movement. Should we try it? I think enough spoken. Let's give it a shot. So if you move back, I'm standing for this reason today, move back and find about 2 arms distance around you everywhere, because we're going to use our bodies today. But bringing now attention to the distance you have between your feet, bringing attention to the stability and the relaxation that you feel in the back of your, in the back, sorry, and in the back of your legs. That's what I meant to say. Remember, no discomfort, no uncomfortable stretches here. We want something that is easy for the body. We don't want to stretch ourselves too thin. Bringing our arms next to our body and preparing for the attention to now come down to the movement, to the hands, as we gently, slowly start bringing movement into our arms. Watch how the arms will slowly start to move on their own as you bring attention to them. Just bringing some distance between your fingertips allows the body to know that you'd like to move it. And if the pace at which I'm doing is anything for you to note, you will see that when you slow down, your pace, your breath slows down. You're able to feel the muscles on each side of your body. You're able to feel the stretches that your shoulders are making to support your body. And don't forget the feet that are helping you balance. The stretch in your body as you bring your hands up to the top of your head. Bring your arms and hands together. Now gently letting your heels go as you push your body up to the top. Bringing yourself on your toes. Feeling the stretch in the sole of your feet. The tension in the heel, the calves. the muscles in your hands, and the temperature you feel at your fingertips, without having to want it any different way, respecting how much your body wants to move today, really not pushing it too hard if it wants to stay stable. Now bring your arms back down as your heels go down. Bring your arms back to the sides of your body at a pace that suits you best today. It may not be the same the next time, but being aware and okay with that. And now bringing us back to the session as we walk towards the computer or the device that you're walking on, bringing your attention down to the feet to observe how every step is taken. Could be beginning with the toes, then your sole goes down and your heel. And the same on the other side. All while you have your body bringing up the other foot already as you're setting the first one down. Now, this is what we call the intelligence of the body. You can come back to the session now. But this is what we call the intelligence of the body. And what we are doing merely is observing the body do these actions without us even noticing it. When we're in a rush, when we're in a hurry to get to work or to school, all we can think of is where we need to get to. But we rarely pay attention to what helps us get there. And then the practice of mindfulness could simply be that, being able to take that time for yourself to observe your body and to tag yourself along, give that attention to yourself. Well, having said that, I think I'd like to end this session. We've had. I hope you have 30 minutes more where you can listen to the other session that I have recorded. It should be up on the website on the channel very soon. So make sure you listen to that too, and then go into these exercises. But again, remember that in summary, we are trying to be non-judgmental of ourselves. We are trying to be not overthinking and over worrying about things and how things could go wrong with us. Which is why with an ADHD mind, we want to be more selective about the kind of thoughts we want to have. Which means that if we are attuned with our body and we are able to soothe and comfort ourselves, we're also taking care of the overthinking and the rumination in our minds. Try meditation, try mindfulness for a couple times before you give up on it. But again, make sure you write in your questions to us at connect@conscious-together.com. And make sure that you hit the like, share, subscribe buttons to tell us whether you like this session or not. And do leave us some comments. I would love to go through your comments to see what feedback you'd have on this session. I've tried it a little bit differently this time. I've recorded the session with slides separately and then the exercises separately so that you're able to get the benefit of both sessions. I hope that format helps. leave me a comment. But thank you for listening, and I wish you a very, very um, happy week. You have a good summer where you are. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye for now.